Lots of people talk about chasing their dreams, but how many actually do it? Welcome to the Pursue Your Passion podcast with Tyler Kammerman. We're going to introduce you to people who are intentionally pursuing their passion every day. Through their stories of success and their struggles, you'll gain insight into how to better begin or continue your journey. Now here's Tyler with today's guest.
Welcome back to the Pursue Your Passion podcast. This is Tyler Kammerman with you as always. I know I always say I'm excited about my guests, and I truly am. But today, I spread out a little further from my sphere of influence. My kids and I and all my whole family watched the Patch Adams movie a few weeks ago, and I wrote a note to the namesake of that movie, and I am excited to tell you that he is our guest. Dr. Patch Adams is our guest on today's episode of Pursue Your Passion. Hello, Patch.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm crazed to pursue my passion.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I want to give everybody who hasn't seen the movie, or even if you have, I just pulled a couple blurbs from an autobiography or an auto bio that Patch has on his website that I thought would be interesting. Patch, to his in his own words, was a strange and nerdy kid in his late teens. He was hospitalized 3 times because he didn't want to live in a world of so much violence and injustice. But everything changed in the last hospitalization when he decided that instead of taking his life, he was going to make a love revolution. At 18, he found his desire to serve humanity through medicine and made the commitment to never have another bad day. He decided to be happy, and he left the hospital on fire and pursued a couple of different interests while working toward his medical degree. During that time, he became interested in whole systems thinking, looking for ways to integrate it with the hospital community concepts that emerged during his time in medical school. And in his imagination, he envisioned a communal eco-village hospital that would address every problem of the way that our healthcare system was delivered in one model. And he wrote it up in a paper in March of 1971, and that was the basis of what became the Gesundheit Institute. I love that in there he's got their policy when they got started was 1, no charge; 2, no health insurance reimbursement; 3, no malpractice insurance; 4, 3 to 4 hour initial interviews with the patients; 5, home as a hospital, which I love; 6, integration of all the healing arts; 7, integration of medicine with performing arts, arts and crafts, nature, agriculture, education, recreation, and social service; and 8, the health of the staff being just as important as the health of the patient.
Yay!
Yeah, yay! Like, why don't we have that everywhere? We need to make the Gesundheit Institute happen.
Are you asking why we don't have it everywhere?
Well, I think
It's,
I probably
it's
know the
about
answer to
money
that.
and power over.
Yeah, yep. That is the issue. So, Patch, I know I just read a piece of your life, but tell us more. The first thing that I always ask people is what passion they are intentionally pursuing right now, and I think I know the answer to that. So, I wanted to start with you with tell us. I gave kind of a real snip there, but tell us how the idea of the Gesundheit Institute was formed.
Well, first, I had a great mother. She was only loving, and she was a school teacher. I grew up in Germany on a military base. My father was in the army and died in 1961. And I was 16, and we moved to Virginia, which was in the throes of segregation. I, let's just say, I wasn't a normal kid. I was a weird nerd, dweeb, dork, sissy boy. And so I ended up being hospitalized 3 times in mental hospitals at 17. I I hated the medication. And then I saw Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and I instantly changed, and I decided to never have another bad day. So I haven't had a bad day in 59 years.
I love it.
I make me. And I think that's anybody's choice is to make themselves who they decide to be. So it's not really difficult except in deciding who you want to be.
Mm.
And then I I'm a nerd. My library's 45,000 books.
Oh, wow.
I probably subscribe to huge number of magazines, and so there I was, and I went to undergraduate school, got in medical school after 3 years, because if you're a nerd, that's possible. And I went to the Medical College of Virginia, which was all about men and power over 6 to 8 minute interviews.
Yeah.
And so I had my medical school years. I did what they told me because I wanted to get my MD. And I explored what it really was like to be a doctor. And I knew that huge numbers of people were on psychiatric medications. I hated them. I've never, in 51 years as a doctor, given a psychiatric diagnosis or medication to anybody.
Oh,
I
wow.
say publicly, I never disliked a person enough to give one. And so the more I studied capitalism, the more I studied maleness, the more I studied history and looked at things, I knew it was also the 60s, and it was very clear that a communal hospital was the right thing. Build it where all the staff is living there as a communal eco village.
Okay.
And and to take it was very quick that I decided that what I liked was 3 to 4 hours with an initial visit. And since it was free, I could insist on what I wanted. And some people didn't like it because they, can't you be quicker, doctor? Normally when I go to a doctor, it's 8 minutes. Or I said, well, if you didn't know I wasn't normal, take a look. Our medical school had 120 people, and about 10 were women, and they were always criticized and always denigrated. And it was so clear that maleness wasn't what I wanted, or didn't want the delivered maleness, and I
Sure.
didn't want the capitalist feeling. Your medical bill in the US is the number one reason you lose your home in 80% of bankruptcies.
Yep.
And so I started a commune when I graduated and did a year of pediatric internship at uh, Georgetown University.
Okay.
And then I realized I didn't want any more formal training, that I wanted to be a family doctor and do it the way I wanted. There was also, at that time, talk of farming and agriculture. And so we got 12 acres in Fairfax County, and there had 12 to 20 adults living there with their children, if they had children. And I had a son born there. And we were farmers, we were goat herders, we had chickens,
Love it.
we were goofy. We put on plays, and we I was making Super 8 films, and we did barfalongs with bulimics, and we, as Mary Poppins said, in every job that must be done, there's an element of fun. You find the fun and snap, the job's a game. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. And I was influenced by those things. I was
Absolutely.
influenced by movies and by friends talking. There were three doctors living together, and one moved towards acupuncture. One was a psychiatrist. And, I don't tell other doctors not to prescribe or to give psychiatric diagnoses. It's just my bag.
Sure.
I'd much rather find out how you can be mentally healthy. I mean, how is anyone lonely in a world of 8 billion people? I mean, it's so, and the number one prescribed meds are antidepressant. I say depression is never an illness, it's a symptom of loneliness.
Sure, sure.
And I, I've never known loneliness except through other people.
Mm.
That so I was still nerding out and reading and the hippie and it was fun to be a doctor.
Well, and I, for a lot of people, for me, other than the couple phone calls that we've had and the few short minutes we've had today, for a lot of people, they feel they maybe feel like they know you a little bit because they saw the movie 20 years ago. One thing that really,
God,
sorry.
this is the 25th
Oh, you're
year.
right. 98. My goodness. Okay. See, I like to pretend like I'm not in my mid 40s, so uh
You're like
um
my oldest son who's in
there,
his 40s.
there you go. There you go. Well, one thing that watching it with a 9 and 11-year old, the scenes with doing the clowning with the kids in the, in the hospital, that really touched them. I I'm curious, I assume you mentioned performing arts as a part of the Gesundheit, that you guys did plays and you did films. How did the clowning start, or how did that develop?
Well, I call myself a clown who is a doctor, not a doctor who is a clown. I was a clown before I was a doctor.
Okay.
So, one direction for clowning is you don't fit into society, and so you get goofy. And I loved Goofy. People called us the Zanies,
Sure.
and we were zany, and so the clowning is it's so amazing how many people give up their sense of humor.
Yeah.
It's unprofessional
Right, right.
and or immature or any of those things where
And not just in the medical world, in the
no
professional world also.
people need humor.
Yes.
Uh, you know what's fascinating is I've never found a school in the world, K through 12, teaching 1 hour on love.
Mm,
And the same is true that there's none teaching 1 hour on humor.
right.
And for me, love and humor are the center focus of being.
Yeah.
And so my longest hug in my medical life is 12 hours.
12 hours.
It was a person suffering so much, and I said I wasn't going to stop until they stopped suffering.
Wow.
And so in that time of living communally, there was so much verbal directions that people would go. We were hippies wanting I want a world where no one alive knows what the word war means.
Yeah.
They have to look it up in a dictionary. And so we were the zanies. We were silly and funny. We had rock and roll parties 2 to 3 nights a week. I'm a hell of a rocker.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah. So I don't know where you want to go after that.
No, and is that something that, I mean, I spent some time on your website, and so I think I know the answer to it, but is that something that you still do today? That's still a part of the way that you practice medicine?
Well, I live in clown clothes. You see my shirt, here's my pants.
Okay.
And if you saw the toys that I put in my pockets, if I go somewhere, it's everything from fake snot. I've got 4 sizes of whoopee cushions because farting is probably the number one funny thing in the world. And
It really is.
And so, how is it that people aren't farting? And yeah, I live in clown clothes because you never know when you're going to see a serious looking person. And if you're looking goofy, you're allowed to be goofy.
That's right.
If I'm in an expensive three-piece suit, I'm isolating myself.
Sure. Sure.
And I never wanted to be called doctor. I want to be called Patch.
Okay.
And that's as much of a clown name as a doctor name. And I just loved how it was developing because it's been a school ever since then. So
Sure.
all this time from the very beginning, I was trying to raise money to build a hospital and was very bad at it. And the, I may have already said the number one reason you lose your home in the US is your medical bill
Yeah.
and 80% of bankruptcies.
Yep.
And so I visited most every patient's home. I would invite myself to dinner to see how the partnership was going, if they had a partnership. And rarely was it going well,
Mm,
beautifully.
sure.
And and the kids, and so I probably stopped my style of medicine after 20 to 25 years because I wanted to build a hospital so bad. So I started the movie came out 25 years ago,
Sure.
made me globally famous. It has I found out yesterday, believe it or not, that it has made $400 million.
Wow.
Wait, no, $400 billion. And I they promised to build me and gave me nothing and didn't answer my 5 letters. But 80% of the promises made me didn't happen either.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Whether it's a $5 promise or $1,000 promise. And I've never been discouraged. It's as soon as I became famous, I was lecturing and performing 250 to 300 days a year over for most of the last 20 to 25 years
Wow.
in every state and 130 countries.
Yeah.
And so I made enough money until COVID happened. For 18 years, I was making $1 million a year. So we don't owe any money on our 320 acres. We built three beautiful small buildings, have the shell of our first big building up, and then COVID hit. Boing.
Yeah.
And so I'm still trying to hustle.
Yep. Yep. Well, so over that time, I mean, it's I have two questions that I'd like to ask, and you've probably answered or touched on both of them. They kind of go hand in hand, but one, what's been your biggest success over this time period, or maybe more importantly, what are you the most proud of that you've managed to accomplish while chasing this dream, while chasing this passion?
Well, I don't know where the most gets in there.
Sure,
I I think it's fascinating that I haven't had a bad day in 59 years.
I agree.
So I'm never having a day where I can't work for what I want.
Yeah, that's an incredible outlook, Patch.
I love our model, and I feel like the luckiest man in history that Susan Parenti loves me.
Mm.
I think of her as the smartest person I know. Her PhD is in music composition. She's a new music composer, which means atonal.
Wow.
So atonal means no rhythm. And she has a book of plays called The Politics of the Adjective Political. Not funny. And she has a book of poetry. And so after 20 years of living apart, I moved in with her about 12 years ago in Urbana, Illinois, which is flat as a pancake. And I, uh, I just love, it makes not suffering for not having built.
Sure.
I want to move to West Virginia. We have three waterfalls, a 4-acre lake, a mountain of hardwood trees, and it's paradise. I feel, in a way, this house, which is a giant library of music, a library of film, of artwork, and we live on a park and are surrounded by trees. And so, if I have to wait to get built, this is a great place to wait.
Yeah.
My lectures haven't, they've kind of started. I'm hoping that not many of them are like this on the computer.
Sure.
I like to do it in person, and so we'll see.
Good.
Keep a
Well,
sense of humor. And what, there was a second question,
yeah,
right?
so I was gonna kind of flip that one on its head. You said you've never had a bad day, and I know well enough that that doesn't mean that every day has been without challenge or without setbacks. So how do you, other than I know it's a conscious choice to get up in the morning and make that decision that you're not going to have a bad day, but how do you overcome the struggles or the challenges that come your way and keep that positive attitude?
A giant mountain of gratitude.
Mm.
I am grateful. I'm grateful that I'm a very healthy 77-year-old person. Because I thought if you're 77, you're a geezer in a nursing home. And I wake up every day with my beloved Susan, and I mean, just to see her naked is heavenly.
I
She's
love
a,
it.
a stunning babe at 72. And I, in a way, I get to do exactly what I want to do. I've kept a daily journal for these 51 years. I have answered all my mail, and it's over 500,000 letters all over the world. And I'm caught up. I don't owe any letters, and I, I'm I still get a chance to read. And here I am on a interview on the computer.
There you go. There you go. Well, I love that. Number one, I can attest to the fact that he does in fact respond to his letters because that's how we got connected. So I love that. But I love the I think you said giant ball of gratitude. That is something that I've learned in my own life. I know that I need to do a better job of is being grateful. But I think that that's something that's missing, for a
Well, How,
lot of people.
how many starving to death children do you have to be with before you're thankful for food
Right.
and health
Yep.
and partnership,
Yeah.
great dreams and great children? And I mean, how many greatnesses do I have to where what? Yes, I'm unfunded. I could die next week, and would somebody take over and try to build a hospital, or would they give up?
Mm,
I don't think if it was built, they would give up.
right.
But two people live there, a husband and wife, and Adam, and they have their two children, and guests go there. I get to go there some,
Yeah.
and I get to explore so many things. I'm so damn grateful. I need a spanking.
I love it. So, I guess at the beginning of the conversation, I shared with you the the title of the podcast my podcast is Pursue Your Passion. And so, the people that are listening, the majority of the people who are listening are on following a journey. They're on a journey of pursuing their passion, or trying to find that passion. And so, I'd be interested in your insight. I mean, what would you say to somebody who, is trying to find that purpose or trying to find that passion in their lives?
Well, number one, I would say love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love yourself and love that you are you, whatever your thing is, whether you've got polio or whatever, however attractive or unattractive you are, whatever you are, be grateful. So love your life, be grateful. I can't tell people enough that you can be the human you want to be. And if you're not liking it, you'll change to another human that you want to be. And maybe a person starts out wanting to be macho and tough and the king of the mountain and all of that stuff. But notice how lonely they are
Mm.
and follow your passions, whatever they may be, whether it's making pies and cakes or whether it's whatever. I mean, I'm not saying don't follow your passion if it's a sport.
Yeah.
Uh, Follow your passion, what you love. I can't tell you what to love except love yourself and love your partner. Those, eh, if you don't love those things, you're not going to be able to love anything.
Yep. That's good. That's sound advice there. One other thing that I mean, I could sit and talk to you all afternoon, but I know you got other things to do. You mentioned that you like to read, or that you find the time to read. I know sometimes when people ask me three favorite movies, that's really hard for me, but I sometimes like to put people on the spot a little bit and just say, hey, if you had three books, either your favorite right now, if your favorite all time is too hard to put into three, but what three books would you recommend to the listeners that they should make sure that they read?
And you're talking to a person who has 45,000.
I know, I
So
almost didn't ask you this question because of that, Patch,
I
but I'm
don't
gonna
have
try it
any
anyway.
I don't have any John Grisham or Danielle Steele,
That's okay.
and that I have I would say if you like my 3, then get my list of 100. But because I have the complete works of Dickens and Dostoevsky,
Sure,
much Balzac translated. I have most of the Nobel Prize winners in literature, at least one of their books.
sure.
And so get books on the things you love. So I Friends, Nature and the Arts, there are a huge number of art books,
Okay.
not just collections of the great works, but diaries as well. Uh, Friends explore, there are a lot of books on love and friendship and explore those things.
That's great.
But eh, I know 4 hours of poetry by heart.
Wow.
And great literature, oh boy, what do you say? I mean, read Nietzsche's Thus Spake Zarathustra. And as far as literature goes, why would you read Danielle Steele and not Dickens?
I think that's a legitimate question.
And I can understand if the answer is because I like her, I'm not going to mess with that. At least you're not watching TV.
There you go.
There's no TV in our house. We have a big screen because I have probably 25 to 30,000 movies. Because right now you can get most of the movies you love.
Yeah.
Zorba the Greek, Mary Poppins, which are two that I love and can quote lots of passages from.
Well, you already
And
hit Mary Poppins, so that's
right.
that's good.
Life is trouble. Only death is not to be alive, is to undo your belt and look for trouble. That's Zorba.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And and so I three books. I would jokingly say the Brothers Karamazov. Um, how do you choose a Dickens book or a Balzac book or a Dostoevsky book or a Tolstoy book or what I would recommend people that really want to break out in reading and have the same passion is instead of asking me for my favorite three books, tell me 10 of your favorite books, and I'll then tell you what to write, to get.
Ooh, that's good.
So, do you have a favorite writer?
Oh man, um, that's a great question. Nobody ever turns that one around on me when I ask it. I really enjoyed reading Stephen King's books when I was in junior high and high school. If I'm reading fiction, I
And
got
I have no Stephen King.
yeah. I re- I studied theater in college, and so I started enjoying Shakespeare and but man, my favorite author, I actually read a lot of like nonfiction now, and that's probably what I've probably ingested some parenting books most recently. But no, I guess I should probably be able to answer that question better than I am right now.
I'm fascinated right now. I'm here in Urbana, and you're surrounded by nature, and yet you don't call it by name. You say tree, bush, you know, you do it with plants and animals. There's a bird. Right now, I'm reading a book on bees, and I just finished the Australia chapter. And there are bees there that aren't anything like the bees I know.
Huh.
In fact, they're the colors, it's just fascinating. That the world is there to delight you in any of the arts and crafts. What what if you could play Chopin? What if you could paint? Most people say, "Oh, I'm not an artist.
Right.
Oh, I'm not a musician. Oh, they don't put comma yet."
Mm, that's right. We try to talk to the kids a lot about yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Patch, I love your insight. I love your outlook. I'm really grateful. To be honest, when I wrote that letter, I was like, I doubt I'll ever hear from him. And now I'm sitting on a Zoom call with you. Excited about having you being a guest on my podcast. So I want to say thank you for your time today. Thank you for your
maybe it's
insight.
time to say goodbye.
What's that?
Maybe it's time to say goodbye.
I think we're almost there, but before we do that, I found you on patchadams.org. And is that the best place? One of the things that you're still working on is raising the money that you need to finish this hospital. Is patchadams.org, is that the best place for people to learn more, to get in touch with you and to donate?
Well, it depends on how they. Maybe the best way is really to go and work for a couple of weeks at our place in West Virginia.
And would they get that information on the website if they were interested in doing that, or how would they find out about those types of opportunities?
And you're asking a person that you heard say they've never learned how to use a computer.
You're That is accurate.
And so what I can say is, yes, it's on there. And you can also write me. I
Yep,
answer all my mail
he
and
does.
today. And you can talk to other people involved in Gesundheit
Yep.
and find out from them. You can get the big picture from reading my book Gesundheit.
Yes.
And but I would recommend to go there and to, if you're computer savvy, then you should be able to find out a lot of stuff about us.
It's a good website.
And so you have both my address on there and you have what we're looking for. You know, I don't think I'm saying give us your money.
That is great. Patch, thank you again for your time. I am very, very interested in digging deeper into this and seeing where my family and I can help. To all those that are joining us along on the ride, keep pursuing your passions. And like Patch said, start finding the places to be grateful and build up a great big ball of gratitude. And that's going to help you never have another bad day. Thanks again, Patch.
Ooga booga.
If you have questions or would like to contact us, please check out the show details for contact information. Thanks for listening to the Pursue Your Passion podcast.